Let's get to question number 2. The Blazers held the Phoenix Suns to 76 points, 31% shooting from the field, 26% shooting from 3. The Suns, maybe a bad team overall. We've talked about that, but they're not bad on offense. This is a team that finished 9th in the NBA last season in scoring at almost 108 points per game. So the question is, what impressed you most about the Blazers' defense against the Suns? Nate.
Jared kind of touched on this earlier when he talked about Damian Lillard being the surprise player. And that's where it was for the Blazers on the defensive end, was it was their perimeter defending. Damian Lillard, Evan Turner, and Pat Connaughton did a great job hounding Eric Bledsoe and Devin Booker. These are guys, Devin Booker's had a 70-point game. These are guys who can light up the scoreboard if they start feeling it from the outside. And the Blazers just never let them get into rhythm. Booker and Bledsoe shot a combined 1 of 9 from 3. They shot less than 33% overall from the field. And as Jared said, Damian Lillard oftentimes was playing over screens, so not even allowing just to get a little bit of space on pick and roll opportunities. And it was obvious they were never comfortable. And the Suns' offense didn't have anywhere else to go when those two guys weren't knocking down the shots, and they were contested shots that they were trying to take.
Your thoughts, Jared?
Yeah, in addition to Damian and Pat and Evan Turner, I think you also have to. What impressed me was a combination of Evan Turner and Mo Harkless and Al-Farouq Aminu, because I think that Evan Turner got most of the minutes guarding Booker, and Booker averaged 24 points a game against the Blazers last season. Yeah. So he's had success against the Blazers before. But what you saw with those three guys is you've got Turner 6'7", both Aminu and Harkless are 6'9". All three of those players are long. They've got long arms, big hands. I mean, they basically choke off any passing lanes, and they can switch onto any position other than probably the 5. And even Aminu can sometimes move over to the 5. And so what that does is it allows you to take a guy like Devin Booker, who the Suns are running plays to try and get him off of his primary defender. But then instead of getting switched onto a lesser defender, all of a sudden now instead of being guarded by Evan Turner, he's being guarded by Mo Harkless, or he's being guarded by Aminu. So he never had an easy time. He never had an open look. And I think that Booker struggled on his own. I mean, I think he got into his head a little bit, and he was missing shots that he would normally make. But I think a lot of that was because there was nothing easy. And those three players, that's what the NBA is today. Yeah. It's about those 3-and-D players, and whether these guys are the 3 part of the 3-and-D, I don't know. But they're all long, rangy defenders on the wing, and that's a great strength for the Blazers.
Yeah, right after this game, we were talking with Joe Donlin right after the highlights, and it was, he asked, what did we learn from the Blazers after one game? Is it just that the Suns are that bad, or is it that the Blazers have gotten that much better? But for me, it was, we learned that the Blazers can play defense. Yeah. And that's been one of the biggest concerns since I've been here, living in Portland, is can this team defend? Can they stop anyone? So to see that they're capable of something like this, I think was a huge takeaway from this. Even though it's just one game against a bad team, we now know that they can defend, and they can defend talented guards, which has given them problems in the past.
Absolutely.
I really liked what Mo Harkless did, what Maurice Harkless did. I just think he's so versatile. So to see him be able to block shots, to see him be able to force guys out of bounds, to be able to just defend off the dribble, to do what you need him to do was huge. Damian Lillard has said, Maurice Harkless can guard anyone. Well, the more that we see performances like this, the more that I believe that. And so you need a guy like this when you're in the Western Conference, and you're going to guard guys like Harden or Curry or whoever it may be. But having a guy like Harkless be confident and know that he can do these type of things is going to be huge for this team.
And what last night's performance also showed is we've heard all off-season, we heard all summer league, preseason training camp, commitment this year, the focus is on defense. And a lot of times that's just empty noise.
Right.
It's not something we've seen the last couple of years the Blazers have really followed through on in the regular season. Damian Lillard mentioned this after the game, that it was great to see it in training camp and practice. It was great to see it in the preseason, but it was so much better to actually see it happen in a regular season game. Because that was the statement I think they want to make this season in terms of where they're going to improve the most, is on the defensive end. Because as you guys have said, they have the athletes to do it. Right. It's just a matter of commitment. And so last night, I think they made that statement in a big way.
And on top of Connaughton's buckets, it definitely ignited something in this team.
Yeah.
And when you're able to put, take out the jugular like that, that's huge.
Well, and one thing good defense does is at least better opportunities on
No
offense.
doubt. Transition buckets,
The
open
Blazers
shots.
haven't been much of a transition
No.
offense in the past couple of years, and maybe this opens that up.
Yeah.
I think the pressure now is on CJ.
I
CJ
agree.
McCollum was not at the game last night. He didn't play, and you saw a lineup with Evan Turner and Harkless and Aminu in there, and the way they could switch. You don't really have that with CJ. He's shorter. He's short for the two-guard position. He doesn't have long arms. And so I think that he's going to have to come in and take it as a personal challenge to match the defense that they showed in that first game. And yes, it's the Suns, and they're not a good team, but they are a good offense. So I think that you can take something real from the Blazers' defensive performance in that game, and now it's on CJ to match it, like Dame did.
Exactly, and for fans out there, when we're saying to match the defensive effort, we're not saying holding a team to 76.
No.
76 points every night. We're talking trying to hold them into the 90s
Right.
most nights. And granted, if they can hold them to 76, greater power to them. But that's not really an expectation for it this year, is to try to keep them right around 100 or even into the 90s. I think we'll see the Blazers get quite a few more wins than they had last year.
I like the C.J. McCollum angle in this because he kind of gets lost in all of this just because it's kind of an out of sight, out of mind type deal. I don't know if I would say the pressure is on him to perform, but I do like that you're saying there's that extra emphasis. There's that motivation that, hey, if I'm able to do this, we win. We're in games. So I do like that about this. So I will be curious to see how C.J. McCollum responds. I mean, you miss a game like that. This is what these guys do. This is their passion.
Yeah.
So to be held out of a game like this, you want to be a part of this.
CJ likes those kind of challenges, so I think he will accept that, and that's something that internally he'll want to come out and, he doesn't want to come out and, he's back in the game on Friday against the Pacers, and all of a sudden the Blazers give up 105 points. He wants to keep that momentum going.
Right.
And honestly, this is probably one of the most fun games these guys are going to have
Sure.
this entire season. And
Yeah.
he missed out on that
Yeah.
because he wasn't allowed in the building.
Yeah.
Even. And so I think moving forward to Friday, that'll add a little extra motivation because, when you miss out on something like that, you just want to be a part of it.
You're right.
You just want to be a part of it.
Just being on that bench, it's like the swag surfing for the Ducks that's going on when you're doing well. You just want to have a piece of that. And it's funny that you mentioned the whole identity thing. I don't know if you guys caught the Yusuf Nurkic tweet last night. The Bad Boys.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
tweeting out Bad Boys. So
He's still on that one.
yeah. So they're embracing it. He's all in on that.